As with all cooking, the secret ingredient is love.
Okay, so here we have our ingredients: flour, butter, salt, water, all measured out. All right, so Sean's assembling. First is the flour. Ta-da, and then you add the salt. And you just mix that up a little bit. You can use a food processor, or if you prefer, or a blender, or you can just use your hands if you want. And then butter. So you just add the butter slowly, and then you kind of crumble it up a little bit at a time. That's the flour and the butter just kind of crumbled together into a course meal-ish. Okay, now you can start actually adding a little water in, and you're just gonna add a little bit at a time, like a couple tablespoons at a time. Don't forget, if you see Sean's quantities, we are tripling this, so you're not gonna use such massive quantities. You just add a couple tablespoons at a time so that you get, start to form a dough. I mean, pie crust, even though it's kind of a pain, it's pretty forgiving. You can add a little more butter or a little more flour as you go. Does that feel like the right texture? Yeah, it's just kind of firm, a little squishy. All right, there we go. So that's the finished pie crust, just waiting to get cold. Every recipe in the world says that you're now supposed to wrap it in saran wrap and put it in the fridge, but I'm crazy anti-plastic wrap. So this is what we used to do, and it seems to work fine. So it's just like a plate over the bowl. It's pretty well sealed. Dun da da da. Okay, and then here's our into the fridge. I think is there room? Okay, there you go. Just put it in the fridge for a little while. All right, so
we've got our dough. Now we need to roll it out. So first, take off the plate. See, it's doing lovely under there. And then step 2 is going to be put out a little flour the surface. You know, that way it doesn't stick quite so much, and you get a better roll. I'm not sure what the best way to really spread the flour all the way over the surface is, but I like to do that because I'm going to get my fingers dirty anyway. And then I'm going to grab my trusty rolling pin and start rolling it out.
You're gonna add a little flour on
Every
top
once
of
in
it,
a while,
too.
you're going to want to grab it like that. Keep rolling. Roll from, different angles. And so with that, we've got our pie crust. So we're going to grab a pie tin. We're going to peel it up slowly. If it's sticking, you might want to use a little more flour. You can try. And then you're just going to sort of set it in there and try and get it so it's sort of centered. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect, so what is centered? Kind of arbitrary. And then sort of, push it into the edges so that if there's any air that's hiding there. And then you're ready to add your filling. Or, in our case, roll out the next dough.
Right, we have to cook this crust before you add the filling.
Well, that's true.
So these are the crusts for the tarts, again. So now your oven's at 325. Okay, so Ed is chopping up the leeks. He has to cut in our dining room because our kitchen is too tiny for more than one person to walk at a time. Ta-da! Chop. There we go. Into the bowl. All right, so we had one itty bitty piece of bok choy randomly because we had ordered it through one of these ship to you food things. So we're gonna toss that in with the leeks because why not? So there we are. This is starting on the leeks. So there's the butter heating up in the pan. Medium heat-ish, I guess, right? And then you let the butter melt. Okay, so now the butter's melted. The leeks go in.
And the bok choy.
Oh, and the bok choy, if you have, happen to have a random tiny piece of bok choy in your fridge and needed a home for it, or some other greenish thing to cook, voila. All right, that's in.
Chris, nice job fixing the pot.
There you go. Right, thank you, Chris Will, the formerly broken pot. He replaced and fixed Sean's bowl from Mexico. All right, done. On to here. So now this sits here and we stir it for 30 minutes. This is probably, 15 minutes in? We're starting to get a little translucent. Okay, here's another little shot of the leeks going. So you can use them really anytime once they're kind of translucent like this. I think we'll cook ours a little more. The longer you cook them, the more kind of mild and caramelized tasting they get. So again, this is getting to be a little bit of a chef's choice in how you do that. Okay, so now we're ready to assemble the rest of the insides for the leek and goat cheese tart. So that's the 3 eggs all whisked together into the goat cheese. Our favorite is the cherry Glen, and then this is Parmesan. We don't have a local Parmesan producer yet. I think you could use the Tome, but we just went with regular Parmesan this time. And then There are the leeks. You just add salt and pepper to the leeks when you're cooking them to taste. So whatever you like for that, you can add that while you're cooking the leeks, or you can add it now as you prefer. Alrighty. Okay. And then you just stir that up to make like a yummy inside. And then this is the half and half goes in. And I of course forgot to buy half and half, so we just mixed. We had some cream and we had some milk and made our own half and half. Close enough. It's, again, it's a quiche. It's pretty forgiving if you're a little loose on the cooking, as long as you have the basic stuff. All right, so that it gets all mixed together, and then once your pie crusts are cooked, they're gonna go into that. All right, so once your crust is out of the oven, you could probably let it get a little browner, but we're gonna go with this. You just scoop it in. There it is, ready to go. Okay. Spread it around so it's kind of even, and that is ready to go into the oven. Okay. There we go. Sean's gonna open the door. Ed is going to try to put all these wonky things in. Dun, 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 dun. All right.